Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about a certain verse in 1 Timothy. The one I'm talking about is chapter 2, verse 12. Paul writes to Timothy, I permit no woman to teach or to have authority over men. She is to keep silent. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a woman. I'm sitting here teaching and not keeping silent. If I'm trying to be saintly, what am I doing here yammering away? And what are you doing by watching this video? I could just throw my hands in the air, keep quiet, and shut this all down. Or I could choose to not cherry pick this one verse and look at not only the context of 1 Timothy, but of the rest of the Bible and the history of the church. So let's do the latter. 1 Timothy is a letter written by Paul to, well, Timothy. Timothy was in Ephesus, and although we don't know much about what was going on there at the time, we can look at Paul's letter and work out a little context. We can see that there is anger, quarreling, and women dressing immodestly and ornately. We also know that Paul is giving Timothy instructions on how to run the church. With these things said, it's my guess that the women of Ephesus were causing scenes and trying to take places of authority in the church that were meant for the ordained men.
Well, she's special, but she's not that special.
The idea that Paul didn't want women teaching at all doesn't actually fit the rest of his narrative. For instance, in his letter to Titus, he says, bid the older women likewise to be reverent in behavior, okay, not to be slanderers or slaves to drink. That makes sense. They are to teach what is good. Well, wait a minute. If Paul doesn't want women teaching, then why is he telling Titus to have women teach what is good? Again, in Romans 16:1, he commends Phoebe, a deaconess of the church, and tells them to help her in whatever she may require from you. So let's put these writings from Paul up here on the screen. Seems like Paul was giving out instructions based on what was needed at any particular time or place. Not that all women should stay away from all teaching in all circumstances. Now, let's head over to the book of John. In chapter 4, we hear about the woman at the well. After her talk with Jesus, she is so excited that she leaves her water jar at the well to rush into town and tell everyone about the man who told her everything she ever did. She spread the word. She did not keep silent. Later in chapter 20, Mary Magdalene is weeping at the tomb of Jesus. His body is not there, and she thinks it's been taken. Jesus appears to her and sends her to the apostles, telling her to give them the message that I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. Mary is the first to declare that Jesus is risen. She did not keep silent. In the context of the church, we have even more examples of women teaching and spreading the good news. As of this recording, there are 37 doctors of the church. Bishop Robert Barron does a way better job of explaining what a doctor of the church is than I ever could.
Well, a doctor in Latin just means teacher. Docere means to teach. And so a doctor is someone who teaches. Those who are designated as doctors of the church in this formal way are those up and down the centuries who have articulated the church's teaching in some areas so clearly and so powerfully that they become a sort of benchmark or criterion for others in that area.
Out of the 37 doctors of the church, 4 of them are women. That's right. Women can be teachers or even doctors of the church. One of those women is St. Catherine of Siena. We've done a video on her and mentioned something. Oh, man, what was it? Oh, that's right. She admonished the Pope, told him to be a man, and convinced him to return to Rome where he belonged. She did not keep silent. We are all called to evangelize, and to do that, we must be able to teach what God has revealed to us. If you think that women like me shouldn't be teaching and should just keep quiet because of this one verse, you are blatantly ignoring the rest of the Bible, church history, and what the Catholic Church herself teaches. Ladies, as long as you are adhering to church teachings, don't let this kind of talk stop you from teaching people about Jesus, the faith, and the one true church. Don't be silent. Proclaim Jesus is Lord. Go out and be like St. Catherine of Siena. You know what? If you're going to be like her, you should probably learn about her. Good thing you've got this.